So we're going undercover to Texas to expose what I believe is the ugly truth behind the world of faith healing, and I would be doing this myself, but I might get recognised out there, so we're setting up an ordinary guy as a faith healer to show that you don't need any Holy Spirit or special gifts in order to do this. Just a few months ago, I began my search for someone I could turn into a faith healer. I've chosen Nathan, a scuba diving instructor, as that person, but up until this point he's had no idea what he's really been auditioning for. Faith healers claim that the Holy Spirit uses them to heal the sick, the blind, the deaf, people with cancer, AIDS. The impact of this is that people donate, often huge sums of money. Some of them donate their life savings, and that people also throw away their medicines. So a lot of people get worse, and some people die because they believe that they're healed when they're not. This isn't about faith, and it isn't about God, and it isn't about the church, it isn't about religion. It is about greed and about a very specific scam. I'm doing this because I want to draw people's attention to this particular form of fraud. But to do that, we will need a fake faith healer. But you're up for it?
Oh, yeah. I'm prepared to give it a go. I just, the enormity of it, I think that'll probably sink in as I learn more about what we're doing.
You will need this. It is the King James version. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you,
Nathan.
Thanks, Derren. Cheers. My gut reaction to, coming up, seeing this project and understanding what it is my part is to play in it. It's the scale of it. It's the gravity of just how important religion is to people and how much they take it to them, to their very centre, to their core. And therefore, in this instance, especially when there's money involved, the protection around that and how good I'll have to be, if you like, to infiltrate that and actually seeing what that reaction is, indeed surviving that reaction, possibly. So, to my relief, Nathan is up to the challenge. The first thing to do is to give him a fake name. I've decided on Pastor James Collins. James is fitting as it's a religious name, but even better, it gives him the very biblical initials of JC. I know that when we make inroads to America, people are going to ask questions and investigate his background, so the next step is to create a fake website. Pastor James needs to have an identity and a history that will look real to anyone looking him up on the internet. And like other faith healers, Pastor James has a ministry, which I've decided to call the Gifts of the Spirit. And what's the reason that his soon-to-be congregation in America hasn't heard of him before? Well, that's because he's been healing the sick in Africa. Within days, giftsofthespiritministry.com is up and running. Feel free to check it out yourself after the show. My team spends weeks trying to convince over 100 Texan churches to allow Pastor James to preach his gospel to their following.
Hi there, I'm calling from Big Wonder Films. I represent Pastor James Collins.
This will help establish Pastor James's credibility and will also enable him to publicise the big revival event we're planning to stage at the end of our week in Texas.
And they're just not responding at all.
However, not one church returns our calls or helps in any way. So we decide to hire a Texan Christian PR company run by a guy we're going to refer to here as Peter to protect his identity. By using Peter and his contacts, it is our only chance to guarantee an audience for our final show in Dallas. We need this man's help. Nathan, a scuba diving instructor, will need a whole new range of skills to pull this off, and so I've put together a small team of specialists that will help me teach him everything he needs to know. This is Jeff Coleman, who's head of acting at the prestigious Central School of Speech and Drama.
I'm a little bit terrified about the task in hand.
I'm hoping Jeff can help me turn Nathan into a faith healer by installing techniques a method actor would use to prepare for a role.
So it's light, and it's joyful.
Mark Havel is a Christian who used to be active in the faith healing movement and has since turned against it.
I went out to churches holding services and did the exact same things that you see on TV with these televangelists.
And Woody Woods is a musician who was involved in the faith healing movement for 20 years, until he became increasingly uncomfortable with how manipulative he perceived these services to be.
The music always follows a certain pattern. Really, really fast songs to start off. The congregation would be whipped into a frenzy. After that, they go around with the offering, telling people to sow their seed. Right, thank you very much.
I asked Woody to teach Nathan how the services are actually run.
Even though it doesn't have to be rigid, there has to be some a particular order of how it's done.
I want you to give authority to that voice. Okay, go.
Thank you for the sun in the sky. He's basically already trying to
break down the way I talk normally so I can really sell myself as a preacher.
Ready for more work?
I need Nathan to sound like he's been preaching for years, so I ask Mark to train him intensively in the scriptures and show how they can be twisted to suit the motives of a faith healer.
What you're getting today, as opposed to last week, are heresy lessons.
Right.
So there's a very real and serious side to this in terms of you are talking about real faith versus something which is effectively a counterfeit.
And then you're looking out the audience and you're seeing these pockets of light in people.
I work with him on his act,
Lord, show me this here. Can you see that? If that's hot.
and the whole variety of tricks that I believe are being used.
I do take my hat off to him because he's trying to learn something that takes years to learn.
Pray, he's going to be healed. Yeah. He's going to be healed. I have moments where I'm feeling more prepared, and then I think I have moments where you just realise, well, actually, I've only just learned a little bit, and that just means I've learned that there's a whole lot more that I need to know.
But there are so many little details that could slip him up, such as his Ugandan background. So Nathan has to squeeze into his already packed schedule, learning some basic Swahili.
Kahawa.
Coffee?
Do you?
I don't think he realises how much work he's got to do.
It's really a huge challenge. I think we'll do it. Actually, I almost hope and pray that we will.
To know that these people are being abused or mistreated because of their faith is disgusting. So I feel responsible to do this job as well as possible.